Everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about extending your weight loss time frame. This is one of the most important things you can do to successfully master your weight. And I'm going to start it off with a question. How long do you want to keep the weight off for? Okay, so I know you want to lose the weight quickly, but the next question is how long you want to stay at that weight. I can hear you saying forever. Okay, so you have already extended your time frame in terms of your weight. But the way you're thinking about it, you're obsessed with fast weight loss. And that obsession with fast weight loss is really hurting you because what's going on is subconsciously you're thinking of weight loss as a temporary thing, right? You're thinking your main goal is just to get to your goal weight. And because you think of it as a temporary thing, you're willing to do almost anything to make it happen quickly. And this is what makes you susceptible to ridiculous, unsustainable, miserable diets and workout programs that you can't keep yourself doing. And at this point, you probably can't even get yourself to start. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that when you take a step back and start to realize that you really want to master your weight forever, your goal is not to get to your goal weight. Your goal is to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. You want to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. And once you realize this, it's such a profound moment because now we can take a step back and realize there's no rush. There is no rush. You're setting this up and you want to master this area of your life so that you can live at your goal weight forever. And now you can start to approach this more strategically because with the diets, it's not a strategy. It's some ridiculous tactic of cutting calories down to 1,200, cutting out carbs completely, not eating for 16 to 20 hours a day. And it just gets crazier and crazier. And it's not built for long-term success. And so when you start to realize my goal is I want to live at my goal weight forever, now we can start to approach it more strategically and we can start to break it up into pieces and go to work on really mastering your weight rather than trying to change everything for a little while just so you can lose some weight real quick. And what that starts to look like is, you can start by focusing on your worst eating habit, right? Maybe you snack at night, so you go to work on that. Maybe you overeat at dinner, you go to work on that. Maybe you snack in the afternoon, you go to work on that. And we start to break things down and we start to create a real strategic system that allows you to not only lose the weight, but to stay at that weight forever, because that truly is your goal. And so the longer you make your time frame, which I hope is forever, because again, as a reference point, how long do you imagine yourself brushing your teeth for in your life? Do you imagine yourself getting to an age where you say, I don't care about brushing my teeth anymore? Of course not. You imagine yourself doing it forever. And so the more you start to think of your weight and your health this way, it sets you up for success because it's a more accurate goal of what you want. And now you'll start to match up the strategy you're using to the goal. You see, the other strategy you've been using of these extreme diets that are unsustainable is built to reach that goal of just getting your goal weight. But of course, your goal is not just to get there, it's to stay there. And so you're going to need a more foundationally solid strategy to do that. And the diets are not that. And I think this all starts by changing your mindset from wanting to just get to the goal weight to live there forever. And that naturally extends your time frame. And once you extend your time frame, you start thinking more clearly, more accurately. And I think you're going to find that you get much better results this way. So take some time and think about this. And I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. We'll get into them. Let's see. I don't know if I missed any. I just see a bunch of things scrolling by as I'm talking, so I never know what's coming through. And I appreciate you all joining me, sending me some hearts. Always like the hearts. Hearts are good. Ah, shit, I forgot to record that. Oh, well, let's record now. There's no memory card in there. All right. Every day it's something different. My technology. I need a new setup. I have too many buttons I need to push when I do these live streams. I will tell you that. It's literally like 6 things. I need to make a list, I think, because I tend to forget things. Anyways, hope everyone's having a nice day. Where are we at? Tuesday after Mother's Day. It's a funny time, I will tell you, because I know I can feel the momentum. The momentum starts, people thinking about weight loss, I think, as the weather gets nicer and as the summertime starts to dawn on you that it really is around the corner. Of course, that goes right towards that rapid weight loss thing again, because I gotta lose weight quick. I wear bathing suits in a month and a half, 2 months. and it keeps going like that. So, I hope you feel motivated, but at the same time, I hope you temper it with a longer term time frame to set yourself up for success. But it is normal and natural for certain times a year to feel more motivation. That's a normal thing. And depending on where you live, I live in New England, so the summer, the weather starts getting better and warmer, and the leaves are coming out and stuff. And I think that just goes with thinking about your health and how you're feeling and getting outside more and just all of those things. So I hope that's for you too. But on the flip side, it might be a couple days after Mother's Day and you might have overdone it with Mother's Day, and now you might be fighting off cravings and struggle a little bit in that front, So again, there's always kind of like multiple sides to things here with the weight loss. But yeah, whatever you're thinking about, if you have any questions about any of it, feel free to ask them. See, Rosa did some at. No. Rosa says Z. I don't know what that means. I knew a Rosa. She was one of the first people in my group coaching program, and I think about her regularly. What's up, Mario? I don't know if that's you, Rosa. I don't think it is, because I feel like she had a different screen name. But if you're out there, Rosa, I'm thinking about you, and I'd love to hear how you're doing. You were a fun person to work with, and I enjoyed that time. So yeah, but if you ever see this, Rosa, I'd love to hear some update with where you're at. I love that's why I love doing this. I've been doing this for a long time, so I love hearing where people are at. That's one of the things that's real great about what I do is people are kind of set up for long-term success, and I love hearing that long-term success. Mara says, did you get a chance to watch that video? I have not watched that video yet. It's funny, Mario. The last time I didn't watch the video because I kind of I got caught up and stuff. This video, I'm busy as well, but I also feel I know the Jubilee videos, and I like them too, but I kind of know what I'm gonna hear. That stuff's triggering to me. I want to be clear. I am a hypnotist, right? So I talk a lot about kind of mental programming, and so what's up, Wassam? A lot of my, it's like, I'll give you an example. I'm kind of taking it back a little bit. I remember when I started meditating, my mom's, and I used to live out towards Boston, and there was a lot of traffic. And I was like, oh my God, the traffic is crazy. And my mom go, well, I thought you meditated. I thought you handle the traffic, no problem. I was like, well, no, the meditation lets me realize how stressful things are. It does help me manage them a bit, but more than that, I find that it lets me be more sensitive to what's really annoying or triggering or stressful to me, so I can avoid it or find whatever solution I can to it. And when it comes to certain videos and I know what I'm going to hear. I find it's important when you find things that trigger you, commercial wise, TV show wise, video wise, avoid it. Okay. Be careful with it. I have it's been 20 years. I have not had commercial TV. I haven't had like cable TV. I've had some form of streaming, just watching DVDs. Like I have avoided commercials very intensely, because commercials are hypnosis sessions. And I'm not saying you can't be exposed to commercials and still succeed, but it absolutely makes things harder. No question about it. So be careful with what you watch. But I will watch it anyways, Mario. It's been a busy couple days. All the days are busy, it feels like. My daughter's also a senior in high school, so that's another thing kind of on the docket. Niloism says, I know what to do and have all the info on how to successfully lose weight, but I have a hard time with starting or staying on track. Any suggestions? Yeah, because you don't know what to do. Knowing what to do technically, like on a piece of paper, looking at the perfect diet plan, perfect workout plan, that is not knowing. Do you understand? That's having like an idea of what to do, but having that idea and being able to actually carry it out and do it are two totally different things. And so I think it's very important to realize that you do not know how to do it. You don't know how to get started. You don't know how to stick to it. And a big part of that is because that plan isn't really built for you. You're again, metaphorically, you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And it's like, geez, I know what to do. I got to put the peg into the hole. I got to put this into the hole. I know what to do. I got to put this peg into the hole. Yeah, but it doesn't fit. So yeah, you know what to do, but it's not fitting. It's not the right plan. And so with Program Yourself, then a big part of what we're doing is you're learning how to program your subconscious mind. You're getting a lot of hypnosis to kind of help you install a thin, healthy mindset, but you're also learning how to create an eating blueprint, a lifestyle blueprint, and mindset blueprint that's customized to you. So, if you compare like what you think you know to do and compared to what I know to do, you're going to see it's a world of difference. Like, cause I not only know that I need to consume less calories and eat healthier food. We all know that. I know how to do that for breakfast. I know how to stick to a plan because I have clean and pleasure days. I know how to have my salad ready to go 4 days a week and have that fill me up so that I can go into dinner and eat just the right amount of food. I know how to manage my cravings. I know how to manage my mindset. I know how to create a lifestyle that supports all those things. And I feel great the whole way in doing it. I know how to think like a thin, healthy person. And these are things you probably don't know how to do. Again, it's not a judgment. It's just a truth. And I think the diet industry is gaslighting you all in the sense of like, oh, just here's the plan. Well, having a plan and being able to do it long term are two totally different things. You know this. In your life, you have learned things, and at first you knew what to do. You got it logically, consciously, but to be able to actually do it consistently was a whole nother thing. And the diet industry is always tricking you with this because they want you to just think that your entire weight loss success revolves around your willpower and your ability to force yourself to do shit you do not want to do. And I have not seen that work well. And I will tell you, the things I do to master my weight, I love doing. Some things take a little bit of discipline, but the majority of things, the way I eat, the way I live, the way I think, I love all of this. I love being thin and healthy. I love living like a thin, healthy person, and I love eating like a thin, healthy person. I love it. I love what I eat. And so that's the difference. Now, this was a process I've been working on, but here I am with a result of not just a physical body that's a certain weight, but a way of doing that fits like a hand in a glove. It fits me perfectly. And so you compare that to things you've tried forcing yourself to do, and you quickly realize that's why I can't stick with it. And that's why I can't get myself to start it now, because I fucking hate doing that. I hate living that way. I don't want to live that way. Even if I lose weight, I don't like living that way. It sucks. So you don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like again, you have some vague general idea what you're supposed to do, but that's not knowing. And once you realize that, it's a wonderful moment, because then you can start to realize, oh, there's nothing wrong with me other than the fact that I've never learned how to do this. And you haven't. The diets are not teaching you how to live as a thin, healthy person. They're giving you extreme ways to drastically change your weight fast. And it doesn't last. And eventually you've done a diet so many times that now you can't even get yourself started because you associate it with failure and misery. And then that's where people usually get 40. 40 usually starts to happen where you can't even get yourself to start. And, so what's the alternative? The alternative is that you have to think about this. It all starts with a mindset shift, in my opinion. It starts with thinking about this whole process differently. And that's what I was talking about earlier. The first shift I would love for you to make is to go from thinking like a dieter to thinking like a thin, healthy person. And what that means specifically is you stop thinking about how can I lose weight quickly and get to my goal weight as fast as possible, and start thinking, how can I get to my goal weight and then live there, stay there for the rest of my life on your autopilot? Because the big difference between those two is the time frame. When you think about your weight loss as a short-term thing, you're always going to be seduced by drastic things that get you there quicker. When you start to realize the real goal is not just to get to the goal, but to live there, you start to have more patience and calm. You can't rush it. There is a natural order to things. There's a natural time frame to things. This is an example of like, you're the gardener who wants to plant the seed and pick the fruit the next day. And it's not your fault. I mean, we're all impatient to some degree, but the diet industry is really glommed on top of that. And that's the only way people can think about weight loss now. Is how fast can I lose weight? You start with how much weight lost? And it's all short-sighted. And you have to think of it more like college. College, you go to get a degree, or you go to a trade school, you do a training. You've got a long-term time frame. You start off, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but you stick with it and you learn what you're doing till you get to the end. You know how to do it. It's not rocket science, but it does take a little bit of time. And you've never done that with weight loss, so yeah, no, suggest you're right. I know. That's what I do all day long. And the good news is, though, it's not you. You're not broken. You don't have a broken willpower machine. You don't have an addiction to food. You're not a sugar addict. You're not an overeater. It's a lot less those things and a lot more that you never learned how to deal with your mindset, how to create the right lifestyle, and how to create your own eating blueprint that's customized to you to get the results you want. You never learned any of this stuff. And once you learn it, you start to realize, oh, that wasn't the problem. Oh, it's not me. Oh, I'm not broken. I can do this. I just never learned how to do it. So that's the big difference. Zeta says, I think I'm thin and I love thinking I'm thin. Yeah, great. Yeah, it feels great. It really is. It's a wonderful freedom. I mean, as you can all imagine, it really is. But it's not, you wouldn't believe this. I know you don't believe me, but I'm going to say it anyways, because I've been doing this for 20 years professionally. I'm the one that's done over 6,000 private weight loss sessions. And what you wouldn't believe is that just losing the weight alone is not what makes you happy, because I've talked to so many people that are right at the edge of their goal weight, or they're there, but and so you think they'd be thrilled, over the moon. They're not. They're stressed out because they know deep down they're not going to be able to keep this up. And so there's a lot of stress with dieting, even when you're losing weight, even when you're right at your goal weight. There's a ton of stress there because it's not sustainable. And so it's not just losing weight, it's how you do it. Again, I always say weight and money are very similar because they're both means to an end. Just because you have a bunch of money doesn't mean you're happy. I know you think, oh yeah, what if your job, you made your money by robbing elderly people? Yeah, is that good? Is that good money? You thrilled? No. And dieting to maintain your weight is like that. It's like, yeah, I like that I'm thin, but I fucking hate this. I hate this. I don't like living this way. And if you don't like living this way, you're not going to do it for long. Lorraine says true words. They're true words, right? And you never get to hear this. You never, ever, never hear this point of view, because the entire weight loss is just kind of fall into the diet bullshit. And everything's about fast weight loss, everything. And it is that obsession with fast weight loss that literally has got you trapped. Like, I promise you. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. Whoops. Wassam says, could you tell us what is your pleasure food? Yeah, my pleasure food. Yeah. So now again, my pleasure food is, before I tell you what my pleasure food is, I want you to understand that everyone's pleasure food's unique to them, because we're all unique individuals. So I've always been more of a carby type of person, like bread, pasta. That's my mom. My mom's like the only lady, like, you'd go to dinner and she'd have like 2 types of pastas. I mean, it was just like, it was carb central forever and ever, and still is, there's a lot. So that's more my thing. I like sugar too, and desserts as well, but I've never really been someone who totally carried away with the sugar. Carbs, on the other hand, like, I could eat a loaf of bread and just be ready to go. It's different. So anyways, my pleasure foods, that I like to look forward to each week, like pasta dinner, what I mean? That's a big one for me on a Saturday night. Burritos, which I don't mind anyways, but it's more kind of, my clean and pleasure days. I think the big distinction between the two is because I pretty much eat natural food all the time. I don't really eat much processed food, period. I don't find processed food to be pleasurable anymore. Used to, and now I don't. But the big kind of distinction between my clean days, my pleasure days, is flour, refined carbs, and sugar, right? That can be baked goods, bagels, pasta, things of that nature. So that's more of what my pleasure foods tend to look like. Desserts, cookies, baked goods, stuff like that, and pasta are more my pleasure foods. Mario says it's entertaining, but if it triggers you in a bad way, then don't. I won't be triggered. I mean, I can handle that stuff. I'll trigger it because I'll get on here and I'll be all mad. But I am gonna watch it. I promise you. Because I want to see it, and I want to hear, because I know I do like to keep up with the modern excuses that people are believing for why they can't lose weight. And I think we're gonna get more and more of that. I think we're gonna get more and more scientific reasons why people believe they can't lose weight as we move forward, especially with the medications, because they're gonna frame they're gonna want to frame the GLP medicines as, no matter what you do, you can't lose weight because you got a physical issue that's going to prevent it. And I think they're going to want to frame things that way. And so we're going to get more and more scientific reasons why a person can't lose weight. And I think some of them may have some truth to it, and most of them will be bullshit. But a lot of people will believe them. And that's kind of what I'm expecting from that video. But I will look at it so that I can help dispel some myths. Sandra says, I wonder who your gym was when you were starting to understand things about weight mastery. Did you have someone like we have you to point out the things you point out to us every day? Sandra, that's a great question. And I will talk about that. The big shift for me, I was 50 pounds heavier and I was lost. So, I always make the distinction, and I'm not saying every overweight person is like this, because there's a lot of overweight people and there's a lot of people. So everyone's got their unique story. But for me, the weight kind of seemed to layer over emotional issues. My father died when I was 9. I never dealt with any of that. And that shit was just roiling in me. And, once I got a little bit older, pretty early, I started drinking, and I was a blackout binge drinker. And then the food was going crazy as well. So there was that. And so for me, I took a semester off from college, and it was just the universe smiling on me, because it was just pure luck. Okay. That literally, like in a month of that time, I was exposed to hypnosis, Tony Robbins, personal development, learning linguistic programming, yoga, martial arts, guitar, meditation. I shit you not. This is a really true story. And I grabbed it with both hands though too. I really was I was amazed. It was a life-changing moment for me. That's the most my life has changed in a period of time, was that. It was crazy. And so a big part of neurolinguistic programming is it's really like the science of modeling. You find someone get the results you want, and you find out how they did it. Not just what they did, but the deeper, how'd you think about things? What was the mindset piece of your transformation? So one of the things I began doing is I was a member of the Y anyways, but I started going to the Y and looking for people, and you can almost tell. It's a weird thing. But I began looking for people that had lost weight and kept it off for a long period of time. Ideally, I was looking for more than a couple of years, and I began speaking with them. And that was so shocking, because my whole life I was around people that were overweight, trying to lose weight. I always joke, the person who taught me the most about diets was a 400-pound comedian. He was a family friend. He was a good guy, funny guy, but just his weight was out of control. But every month he was on a different diet. I mean, like, he spent a lot of money on different diets. And he would he would just talk to me, tell me, this one does this, blah, 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 tell me all this stuff. And so I remember him always telling me stuff, but never lost the weight. Spent the last 20 of his years of his life in a wheelchair. Just never could do any of it. And so when I began speaking with people that had actually done it, it was literally like being hit with a bolt of lightning. It was so obvious that these people thought completely different. They didn't feel bad for themselves because they couldn't eat good food. They didn't feel like victims because they weren't able to eat the cakes and the pasta. They didn't feel like they were struggling. And it was amazing. They had really transformed the way they thought about themselves, about food, about exercising, about their lifestyle. It was nuts. And so seeing that was that person that really pointed things out to me quick. It was so obvious that just realizing the difference in mindset between a dieter or someone who's overweight, who's struggling to lose weight, and someone who has actually done it, was just like being able to see for the first time. And that moment was so profound to me. Now, all the other stuff helped as well. Okay. And I was obsessed. I've been obsessed for 30 years. I mean, obsessed. I was talking to my daughter and my son the other day. She's going to be graduating senior. But I said, what do you got planned this summer? What are you going to do? I was like, you got anything you want to plan on reading or whatever? And she goes, well, what'd you read when you were graduating senior? I said, well, I didn't read shit, but that was a different time. Because if you got me a couple years later, once this moment happened for me, everything changed. I got obsessed with books. I've been reading this shit. I'm obsessed with it. And I'm obsessed with it because I feel like it saved my life. Not to sound dramatic, but you have to understand, my dad died of a heart attack at 54 when I was 9. And so for me, weight isn't just about looking good. It's about how long are you going to live? He had a twin brother who lived into his 80s. You know what I mean? So it's like, geez, you had the genetics there, but it's like the eating, the weight, the stress, the smoking, the lifestyle. And he was a great guy. Like, he was the greatest guy I ever met. So he's a good worker, hard worker, great dad, great father, just great person, but he loved food. loved food. I mean, it really was literally was his identity. People would refer to him as an eater. He loved food, worked hard, a fun guy, loved eating food. And so it was just part of his identity. And, I'm going to go into that part, but one of the biggest shifts for me of really mastering my weight was really letting go of that identity. Since I was born, I would always eat a lot of food to show, oh, look, I'll eat that. Look how much I ate. Cause it was like, that was a good way I wanted to live up to his, like be like him, one of the hardest parts, I'd lost weight for a couple of years, but it was really like, am I really going to be a person whose whole life isn't food? Am I going to let that part of my dad go from me? I'm not going to be that. That was a weird thing. I know it may sound strange, but there's a lot of strange shit that's messing your weight up. And you don't even look at that. It's all this subconscious stuff that's really controlling you and you're not even aware of it. So that was the big thing for me. It was a real learning hypnosis, learning NLP, learning yoga, meditation, talking to these people. It really clearly defined to me the difference between someone who's a dieter forever and someone who's thin and healthy and how they became that way. So that was kind of the big story for me, that how I figured this out. Miss Leonardo says that's super interesting because today, for the first time, I thought maybe it's not possible for me. Yeah, people think that all the time. And why wouldn't you think that? If your only way you know how to lose weight is through a diet, of course you're going to say like, maybe I can't do it. A lot of my clients are at that point where they're like, no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. Now that's not true, but you can start to believe it because you tried all the diets and none of them work. So it's natural to start thinking it's called learned helplessness. And you start to create this learned helplessness with weight loss because the only thing you've ever done to try and lose weight is diet. And the mindset is so broken that it's almost impossible to really lose weight long-term with a diet. So yeah. Nihilism, I don't know how to say, is it Nihilism? Yes, those are the conversations people have 2 years into their health progress. I'm very curious to know what the first seed was. How did their initial frame of mind change? That's a great question. Yeah. It's different for each person. What is the spark that really creates the change? I'm always looking to identify that, and it's always different for different people. Now I've identified a lot of it, which, let me take a moment. If you're not in my world, please go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session I give you. It's completely free, but watch the video I made for you. I think that's really important because I kind of lay out the whole system I'm talking about in a, more systematic way. It's like a 20-minute video, if that. And on top of that, I give you all sorts of free stuff. And one of the things I give you is a motivation challenge, which is a 15-minute motivation challenge, which is kind of the best shit I know about motivation. That I've learned. I've been doing this 30 years personally, 20 years professionally, and that's free too. Because I want to help motivate you, because that's probably your biggest challenge. I believe if you're struggling with your weight, the biggest challenge you got is you got to get motivated. You're not motivated. Okay. You wish you'd lose weight, but you want to keep eating and living the way you're living. You know what I mean? Your wish is down here, your wants up here to keep doing what you're doing. You're not motivated enough. I can almost guarantee it. So the first hurdle you got to get over, if you have any chance in hell of mastering your weight, is you got to get motivated. And it's one of the most insidious things if you think, because you confuse thinking about weight all day long with motivation. It's not enough. Just because I was saying this yesterday, just because you have obsessive thoughts about weight loss doesn't mean they're effective thoughts, And so, yeah, genuine motivation is really the foundation of this entire process. It's the first thing we go through in the programs. It's so important. Rain says, does drinking salt water help to lose weight? Salt water. I mean, if even if it did, I mean, it's going to be temporary at best. There's no shortcuts. I can tell you that. There's not a fucking shortcut that exists. So don't even give it to me. And I don't give a shit. There's shortcuts to lose weight. I'm not arguing that. There's no shortcuts to mastering your weight. And I'll stand by that. So I don't know. Salt water, I don't know what that means, but I can't imagine that would be a good way. Deb says, if you launch the new monthly program, what will it include? The new monthly program is the Thrive program. I'm glad you asked me that, because I'm going to start one today. It's going to be a little, I'll just be honest, it's a little half-assed right now, but it'll be a good lesson because I know what I'm talking about. But I'm just going to send out last second. I don't know who's going to be on there, but anyone who's ever been in Program Yourself in the last year and a half will get this link. And I'm going to give you a couple of weeks for free anyways, just so you can see what it is. But yeah, the Thrive program is what it's called. I have 2 monthly programs. One is for people that have been in Program Yourself then, and one is for people that, well, for everyone, I guess, but you don't have to have been in Program Yourself then. And that's the PYT club. But the Program Yourself Then Thrive is for people that have been in Program Yourself Then and want to continue. And what that will include is there's a weekly class every week, but it's a more in-depth class. So we've got a 3 p.m. class, which is kind of like we go over the fundamentals of the program each week. So if you get in the program, you can still, if you have questions, you can talk to me. And then there's a class after the Thrive class is a more advanced kind of levels and just different stuff. So I read books every week, so it allows me to kind of teach on what we're talking about, what I'm learning about there. And I think that's really helpful too. And then that's going to include more stuff that, you know, they both include weekly lessons, weekly hypnosis sessions, a monthly challenge. And the Thrive program also has a year of trainings involved with it as well. So I'm kind of muddying them up a little bit there, but you're going to get all this information anyways. So it'll be great. Layla said, would you say that the unhealthy cravings stop once you start eating it less? I wouldn't say they stop, but they definitely lessen eventually. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny, like it with cigarettes, I used to do a bit of work with cigarettes, but you know, cigarettes are the thing that cause the cravings, not eliminate it, you know? And sometimes we get so into an addiction that we think the thing that's causing the craving is eliminating it. And foods like that, you know, especially processed, sugary, ultra processed, fast junk food, all of those things, we think eating it is getting rid of the cravings, when in reality, that's what's creating the cravings. So yeah, as you start to transform your diet into a more whole food, natural, healthier food diet, absolutely it impacts your cravings dramatically. So it doesn't eliminate them completely, but it moves you dramatically in another direction. So yes, that it helps a lot. What's up, Jody? Jim said, or Jody, hold on a second here. Jody said, I love the new hypnosis session. I am thin. You posted a few days ago. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You like that one? Yeah. The subconscious inference session. That's a good one, right? I like that one a lot too. And that's on my TikTok, folks. I think I put that on Instagram too. And so if you're all on TikTok, if you watch me on TikTok, make sure you check me out on Instagram too. Cause like I said, I'm kind of trying to prepare. If things go south to TikTok, then I'll be over at Instagram. Cause I love doing the live calls every day. That's worked out really well. And it's fun because it allows me, like, even if people get the program, there's 2 versions of my program. One has group coaching with it and one doesn't. But even if you get the one that doesn't have group coaching, you know, you can get on these lives and ask me questions, and I'll spend some time helping you through the program that way. But I'm glad you like that session. Nazira, your blood type? My blood type. I forget what my blood type even is. I find blood types fascinating though. I'll tell you why. Because I think it's just so fascinating to think, like, who the hell, you'd never assume you had a different blood type than someone. You know what I mean? Like, I find that so interesting because it leads me to think, like, I think even people are so different. And I think one of the next stages of medicine that's coming down the pike is genetic medicine, you know, like medicine that's tailored to your genetics. And I think that's an interesting way. We know that's coming, but I think it's important for you to think that way now in terms of how are you going to lose weight? You got to come up with a one size fits one plan. You're making a plan for you. This is why the diet idea that you're going to listen to some person who tells you what to eat, who you've never met, they've never met you, and you're just going to force yourself to eat that way. What a fucking crazy world. Would you let me tell you how to dress, what movies to watch, what music to listen to, but you're going to let me tell you how to eat for the rest of your life? Give me a break. You got to take the time and figure out how you're going to eat, you know? And I think, again, diets are, it's like you're doing work. I mean, don't get me wrong. The diets are a ton of work, but it's not a lot of thinking work. It's a lot of muscle work. And, you know, so it's like, it doesn't last long, but anyways, Steph says Greek. Yes, Greek. What are your thoughts on water intermittent fasting? What's a water intermittent fasting? I don't know what water intermittent fasting is compared to regular intermittent fasting. Is that, I don't even know what that means. Is that just, are we getting to the point now where you don't eat and you just drink water for 8 hours a day? I don't know. The intermittent fasting's gotten bonky, wonky, wild. Lorraine says, what do you think about energy drinks? I think the energy drinks are a goddamn epidemic. Now, I'm saying that viewed through what I see kids doing, like high school kids. Holy shit. Just putting this stuff in. I mean, the amount of caffeine and sugar, well, I guess a lot of them are non-sugar drinks, but the amount of caffeine and chemical you're putting in your body seems absolutely horrifying to me. And so, again, I'm not against anything in moderation. I mean, if you occasionally have an energy drink, that's one thing. But I literally, I had some Red Bulls back in the day. Occasionally, once in a while, I'd have them. I never really got into a ton of them, thank God. But I think it's a real horrible thing that I would not want any part of. That's what I think. But I'm sensitive. I mean, I don't drink soda anymore. I used to drink a bunch of soda. I don't drink soda and I haven't in years. I think liquid calories and liquid calories, not just calories, but stuff in liquid form is weird because, even if you drink calories, your body doesn't process it the same. So a lot of times I always think of liquid calories as just being extra calories that you're not getting any benefit from. You're not getting the satiety from liquid calories that you get from eating your food. So you drink those calories and now you're still, you find you're still gonna be hungry. There's not a lot of satiety with it, but the energy drinks seem awful. And that's my take on them. And water intermittent fasting, I don't even know what that is. Exo says my scale hasn't moved for 3 weeks. What the hell is happening? Well, there's a couple of things. One is 3 weeks isn't really that long. I hate to tell you that. I don't know where you're at in your weight loss phase. Did you just start 3 weeks ago? Did you start 4 months ago and now you've been in a plateau for 3 weeks? So those are important things to know. But it's not unusual for someone to start eating better and 3 weeks later, they haven't lost much weight. I see it all the time. So it's not unusual. People lose weight at very different rates. This is why calorie calculators to me are so awful because they set you up for failure. If you look at metabolic lab studies where they put people in a lab and track every calorie in and out with a group of people, what you'll notice is at the end of that study, a month later, 2 months, 3 months later, people have lost dramatically different amounts of weight. And I think this isn't talked about enough because what one person can lose in a period of time may not be what you can do in a period of time, doing exactly the same stuff. But who gives a fuck? So what? So they lost weight faster. I care about losing weight for good. So I don't give a shit how long it takes. And so I don't even care. I know it sucks. We all want fast results. But again, I look at like, where are you going to be next year at this time? Can you imagine? Oh my God. Thinking in terms of a year, but your time frames are so short. Most dieters are obsessed with most dieters think in time frames of days, weeks, and maybe months. Oh, thanks for that. Weight Master is thinking in terms of years, decades, and forever. I'm thinking in terms of forever. And I did this way back in the day, and it was so wonderful because I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a shit how fast I lost the weight. What I really focused on then, and I continue to focus on now, is my behavior. What am I doing? And I make a behavioral change, and I would judge myself and measure myself on how my change of behavior happened. I knew the results were going to happen. I see so many people get so obsessed with the scale and they change all this stuff and they're feeling great. They step on the scale and lose weight. Oh, forget it. And it happens so much, so we got to deal with that. So, and what's happening? Why is the scale not moving in 3 weeks? I mean, the reason number one, probably that I want to go into, you're probably eating more than you realize, just to be honest. But part two is it could be cortisol issues. It could be that your body's just as slow. It releases weight slowly. It could be this weird, I'll get woo-woo here on you, but sometimes people don't believe they're going to lose weight. And it's like they can hold on to the weight for a little bit longer. There's just a lot of factors. You might be weighing yourself once a week. You might not have weighed yourself the whole time. So the scale's moved a little bit and you don't realize it. There's just so much stuff. So I would need a lot more detail than that. Miss Leonardis, what do you think of nutrition based on somatotypes? Somatotypes, what's that, like different body types? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So like, being, what's the words? Yeah. Ectomorphic, mesomorphic, endomorphic. I think that's good in the sense, I think there's no hard and fast rules, but I do think that, hold on a second. I do think that, different bodies react differently. And I think you're not going to like this, but I think genetics, and that's really what we're talking about, body types. It's one version of a body type, but it's like there are genetic factors in what you're going to be able to accomplish. I always joke, I can't diet myself to look like Brad Pitt. Do you know what I mean? Like there's limits, there's upper and lower limits of where we can get to based on our genetics. So I think nutrition plans, weight loss plans based on that, I don't know enough about that to really speak to that. But the part I want to kind of hijack on that question is that I think setting our goals relative to what's possible for us is really, really important, because we live in a culture now where we're constantly having, perfection put in front of us constantly. And it's weird. You might not, think about this. For millions of years as how humans lived, we usually lived in small groups with people that look just like us. Well, the same genetics, and everyone kind of looked the same. And so you look like that. But now it's like we've all mixed up. So now it's like, if I take I don't know, you take my Greek and English genes and you compare it to someone who's, lives in South America. I know we just got different genetic factors that lead us to have different, possibilities. And so I think all that's important, because I've seen people that get to their goal weight and they're still miserable because they don't look like the model they want to look like, the movie star they want to look like. So I know that's not what you're asking, but that was just something that made me think that. What's up, Lorena? How's it going? Estonia, right? How where you're at? What's up, Bree? How much will the Thrive program be for the PYT members? I'm going to start that one. I'd done this program back in the day and it was 97, but I'm going to give you all kind of an initial offer. It'll be 47 if y'all want to do that. I want to make it really reasonable there. And it's an awesome program. Like I said, it's a year. There's a year training with it. So every month you get a bunch of trainings that are really good, I think. And then and you get that for a lifetime too. Like you keep those forever. But then the weekly calls are that's the stuff, I think. Even the Thrive program, in that there's not only like there's a curriculum for a year to really deep dive and master the stuff, but there's also a lesson library, because I had been doing lessons for years. And so there's like 50 or 60 lessons. I didn't put them all up there, but I put like 50 or 60 of the best lessons up there. So you can just watch those whenever you want. And then I'll be doing new lessons, because I read it. I've kind of bummed. I haven't done that in like 2-3 years. And I kind of miss it, because I was always basically doing book reports. You know what I mean? Like I read these books and I got to share them with the group. And so I'm kind of going back to that. I can't wait. So like I said, that'll be $47. And then I'm kind of kicking around some more hypnosis. My struggle is the technology of how to give you guys hypnosis sessions in the morning for a year. So I'm a little stuck on that one, but that may be coming, but it'll have all the other stuff. What's up, Chuck? How's it going? Package. That's what I'm calling it. That looks like a gift box for an avatar. How to get out of the all or nothing to deal with the all or nothing mindset. Yeah, well, I think you get all the all or nothing mindset by just being real with yourself. Like God, it's that all or nothing mindset is such a crock of shit. You're never going to be all or nothing with your reading. Like fucking never. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not David Goggins. You're not Julian Michaels. You're just not. You're not going to be that way. And you wouldn't want to be that way. That's why you're not that way, by the way. So the all or nothing thing is such a crock of shit. And again, it goes hand in hand with the diet mentality of wanting short-term results, because the way to get the most dramatic results is to be perfect. But again, you see what I mean? Like, so I think all or nothing can only exist within a short-term time frame, because you start extending your time frame. You'll go through the holidays and not overeat. You can go through a vacation, never overeat or eat the wrong thing. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And I think this is where people really fuck themselves up, because they buy into this idea that they're going to be perfect, and you're not. You're not going to be perfect. And if you think you're going to be perfect, though, then the littlest mistake feels catastrophic. And that's why I'm trying to tell you. Again, I use the example of most dieters think of weight loss. They approach it like it's a sprint. And if you think a sprint is a race, you need to be absolutely perfect in order to win a sprint, right? If you trip a little bit running a sprint, you're going to lose the race. But if you compare it to a marathon, you can trip a little bit and make up for it. There's more space to make up the mistakes, to absorb them. And when you go into your diets, you're thinking like a sprinter. And so any little mistake you make feels catastrophic, completely blows you off the course. When you start thinking of a longer term, you make little mistakes. It's not a big deal. You just roll with them. You get yourself back on track quickly. So that's a big part. And so, how to deal with the all or nothing mindset, you don't deal with it, you replace it. You need to have a better option, and you haven't had that. And the better option is to become all or something, to always do something, never do nothing again. Never, never, never. Always at least maintain something. That might be drinking water. That might be getting some sleep. That might be walking around the block. It could be something small, maybe eating an apple every day after lunch. It could be little things, but just something that sends a message. I'm still in the game. I'm not where I want to be right now, but I'm still in the game. That is the most profound moment, I think, for people. It's night and day, because what you don't realize with the all or nothing mindset, here's another way. Stop calling it all or nothing. Stop calling it all or nothing. Start calling it nothing or all, because you're nothing most of the time. All right. Stop bullshitting yourself. You're all about 5-10% of the time, and you're nothing the other 90%. So start calling it nothing or all mindset if you don't want to let it go. because you're mostly doing nothing. Chuck says, please talk about not freaking out on pleasure days after eating food with salt holds extra. Yeah, well, Chuck, though, you've answered your own question in a way. If I don't really weigh myself anymore, but if I weighed myself on a Monday, I would expect that it's probably be a little bit higher, but I don't give a shit. I don't care because I know it's going to go right back down to where I want it to. Little jumps in the scale, I don't give a shit about, especially if I know where they came from. So, why would you freak out if you have a pleasure day and you know you had some extra salt, the next day your body's going to hold on to the salt and your weight's going to go up and show up a little bit for a couple of days and then go back to where it goes. Well, why would you freak out about that? You know what I mean? I know how it works because we all have hypnotic brains and we associate things together and don't think about things logically. So I understand how it works, but when you take a step back and realize it's not a big deal, as long as the weight goes back down, who cares? So that's how you not freak out. What do you think about protein bars? I mean, I think of food as a spectrum. Okay. So again, getting us out of the all or nothing mindset, I really live in shades of gray. I live in the gray area with most things. And food is another one of them. So our protein bar is good. Well, I'm not going to say they're good or bad. I'm going to say they're better than cupcakes and cookies and donuts and brownies and all that. But they're worse than fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, whole grains. Do you see what I'm saying? So I want to think about things on a spectrum. So protein bars are certainly not I would never, ever, never. Now, again, it depends where you start from. So when I was first starting, I used to eat Cliff Bars and use Cliff Bars as part of my eating structure and strategy. So where I'm at now, I would never, ever rely on a protein bar as a structured part of my eating. Not to say that I won't, in a pinch, I'll grab one. Okay. But on a typical week, I would never build around a protein bar where I'm at now. Okay. But there was a place where I did have them. So again, it's relative to where you're at. So if you're moving in a direction, making things better and you're using that to get there, great. Protein bars in themselves, because I don't like anything processed. I don't believe in anything processed is going to be the best for me. Okay. I still eat processed stuff sometimes, but I don't want to eat Kind bars, Cliff bars, protein bars, because that's calories that I could get way more value for. Meaning I'm looking for nutrition and satiety are my two big measurements when I think about what I'm going to eat. And protein bars, you all think protein's the most satiating thing because you've had that drilled into you by the meat industry. And it is. Protein's satiating, no doubt about it. But the most satiating thing that exists on the planet? You're never going to believe it. This is what Ozempic does. It raises your GLP-1 hormone, but you know what else raises your GLP-1 hormone? The most satiating thing on the planet. And if you don't know the answer to this, I'm not judging you, but I just want to make clear that you don't know the answer to this. You have almost no chance of ever being able to master your weight. Because if you don't know the most satiating food that exists on the planet, the fuck are you doing? No offense. But what I'm trying to point out to you, again, I'm not being a dick here. I'm trying to point out that you have not learned how to master your weight. The diet industry is the food industry. The diet industry doesn't want you to lose weight. Okay. The diet industry is the food industry. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products owned by the same company as Carvel Ice Cream and Cinnabon. Slim Fast owned by the same company as Ben & Jerry's. These companies don't want you to eat less of their shitty foods. Do you understand that? This is why you probably don't know the answer to the most satiating food on the planet. I see Nihilism said fat. No, it is not fat. It is not fat. I'm not going to answer yet. I'll give you guys a second. Are there any self-proclaimed food addicts who have lost weight with your program? Oh, yeah. Half the people that come to my program think they're food addicts. I've worked with people that have been in OA forever. Bright Lines Eating. I've had a number of people from Bright Lines, and they're certified food addicts. So yes. Sandra says, one more thing I'm interested in. Maybe it's too personal and private question. Oh, and if you think so, you don't have to answer is whether your family has the same lifestyle as you and whether you influenced them from the beginning. Yeah, my wife we went through this journey to some degree together, and she was a huge part of this. Shireen got it. Fiber. Yes, fiber is the most satiating thing on the planet. And for all you paleo people out there who thought that paleo people were just eating meat, they now think that paleo people were consuming 130 grams of fiber a day. which makes sense because everything you eat naturally has a lot of fiber in it. You pull off the ground, not animals, but and so fiber is the most satiating thing. Fiber increases your GLP-1 hormone. When I started eating giant ass salads and boosted up my fiber intake tremendously 5-6 years ago, it felt like the Ozempic stories. My hunger nosedived. All of a sudden I went to dinner, I had half the hunger I used to have. So I call it nature's Ozempic. And until you try eating like a big ass salad, go watch my video on TikTok. It's in the pinned videos. Go check out the salads I make now. And then go eat those salads for a week and see how you feel. See, the food industry's got you hungry all the time. I was hungry all the time. Real hard to master your weight when you're starving all the time. So once you feel satisfied, it's a whole different story. Fiber is the way to do that. So yeah, the family, my wife, we went through a lot of shit together and it was very helpful. No doubt about it. Had she not been there, I still would have done this journey. Okay. And then my kids, they definitely hear what I'm saying and they're influenced by it, no doubt. But at the same time, I do give them space to eat bullshit and get carried away with it a little bit because I know they got a solid foundation. And I look at how they eat compared to how I ate. Now, again, my mom, we always had solid ass dinners, like good food. It was a lot of carbs, pasta, butter, all that stuff, but it was all whole natural foods pretty much, but yeah, so my kids, they've got a cleaner diet than I had growing up. They've never really drank soda, never had sugar. It's been limited, but I give them space because I want them to learn how to manage this shit. I don't want to keep them in a bubble, then send them out into the world. So that's kind of where it is. Yeah, please also share on Instagram. Yeah, I'll put that video on there. I got to figure out how to do it. It's like a longer video, but I'll put it up there. And I should pin that because that's a great video for people to see. Because again, you don't even know to watch some. I always think that that's the curse of knowledge. You when you know something, you think everyone knows it. But the way I eat, I realize I forget sometimes that people don't even have a concept of how I eat. I'm a vegetarian, pescatarian technically, but I'm pretty much a vegetarian, pretty much a vegan. I really don't eat much cheese or dairy. I like eggs and I eat eggs, but but even the way I eat, you wouldn't believe it because I know when I was back in the day when I was eating like everyone else, I would have seen what I was eating, been like, oh, I'll be hungry all the time. That's never going to fill me up. But what you don't realize is you've been conditioned to think that calories fill you up. Calories satiate your hunger. That's all you think about. And that's not true. Calories are a small piece of the puzzle. And haven't you noticed that you can just keep eating more and more and more calories and you're still always hungry? The calories are a piece of it, but the bigger pieces of it are the nutrients. It's not uncommon in America to be overweight and starving, overweight and malnourished, because you're eating a lot of calories and not getting a lot of micronutrients in your body. You're not getting the nutrient variety your body needs, which is why you feel hungry all the time. Everybody sending you a hunger signal. Your hydration levels impacts your hunger. Your fiber intake is tremendous, so when you change the way you eat, that's the big difference. I'm a master of multiple aspects. There's a lot of, this is another piece. Dieting just gives you a plan and you think you're going to follow it. No, you're not. So the real secret to mastering a weight is to understand some of the granular factors that are really controlling your weight, your mindset, your lifestyle, eating, what you know about food. You don't know shit about food. Think about this. I asked you the number one satiating food on the planet is, and most of you didn't even answer. Again, it's not a judgment. It's to show you that the diet companies, the diets are leaving out the most important information because they do not want you to lose weight. They want to get you coming and going. They do not want you to start thinking about nutrition and nutrients in your food. That would be the kiss of death for these companies. They want you to think about calories because now you're not thinking about the nutrition. You're not thinking about the lack of fiber because fiber is one of the main things stripped from modern food because it doesn't process well. So they don't want you thinking about fiber. They don't want you thinking about micronutrients. They want you thinking about calories. Because then you can be like, oh, well, if I eat McDonald's or whatever, it just comes down to calories. I'll eat a protein bar. I'll eat, a salad. It doesn't matter. It just comes down to calories. It's the same thing. It's not the same fucking thing. Not at all. So, gotta upgrade that. Oh, what's up, Tabby? Chocolate cake? You changed your name to chocolate cake? That's a dangerous thing to do. I wouldn't change my name to Fresh Croissants. I'd be thinking about croissants all day long. That's a bold move. Bold move, Tabby. But yeah, so is my family the same lifestyle? No, I wouldn't say the same. I mean, it's similar, but I think I'm a little bit of an outlier. I'm a bit of an outlier in the family. in terms of my eating and lifestyle is a bit of an outlier, but we're all in the same ballpark, I would say. Sandra says, I asked because I really want my mom to change her lifestyle. She's overweight and has problems with depression, epilepsy, high blood pressure, etc. I get you, and you got a good heart, Sanja, but unfortunately, trying to change other people is, I put it in the impossible category, and I spend no time thinking about that. I mean, I know I do this professionally, so it's like I've been very fortunate. I remember before I did this professionally was one of the hardest times of life because I was obsessed with this stuff and I want to talk about it all the time, but people around you don't want to hear it usually. And so doing this profession has been one of the greatest gifts because I get to talk about this all day long. So by the time I get around my, people, my, not my direct family, but like, even just anything extended, I have no desire to talk about it. And that's great. That works out perfect. So I will tell you, Sandra, that the best way I've seen to do that is to be a good role model, to start to really make changes in how you think, how you feel, how you look, how you live, and don't even mention it. And if they ask you questions, then you can tell them about it. But I've seen that to be the best way to influence people, and even that doesn't work that great. Chuck says, Jim, you've helped me maintain a consistent weight for 2 years now. Thanks. You're welcome. That is awesome. I'll take a little screenshot of that because I always love the maintenance stories. I love the weight loss stories too. Don't get me wrong. But I love the maintenance stories because that's like the rarest thing in weight loss. That's another thing you really ought to look at is that it's estimated 95% of people that lose weight on a diet put it all back on. So the weight loss, as hard as you may think that is nothing compared to keeping it off. So you should think about that. Because program yourself, then we start with the maintenance right from the beginning. Sandra says she doesn't understand English, so she can't listen to you. And when I try to talk to her, she didn't apply anything. It doesn't even seem like she wants to change anything. That's very difficult for me. I totally get that, Sandra. I 1000% get that. I have people in my life that are like that. And especially consider my dad's fate. It's very triggering for me. I have spent more time just letting it go. It's not up to me. People get to do what they want to do. It's hard enough to influence yourself. And so I know this sounds weird. It may sound heartless, but what I'm saying is if you get so fixated on changing her, what happens is she isn't going to change, and then you're going to be sucked into it as well. You're better off dedicating that energy and time to getting yourself where you want to be. And then at the best case scenario is you become an inspiration, or then, that's the only way I've ever seen anything work. I just haven't seen anything work other than that. If I had, I would tell you. I would love to know an answer to that. But I haven't. Nihilism asks, what about impulse control or not having control and making impulsive decisions? Well, yeah, I mean, that's a huge part of mastering your weight is being able to influence your eating so it looks the way you want it to get the results you want. For Program Yourself, then what we do is we structure our eating. I believe you've got to structure your eating. That's the one. I always say there's no right or wrong when it comes to weight loss. There's only what works for you. The one exception being you've got to structure your eating, especially in the environment we live in. We're constantly being tempted by hyper palatable foods that we have some level of addiction to. So if you are not managing your hunger, managing your eating, managing your mindset, good luck. You can't rely on willpower. And again, even your idea of willpower and how you think of it is childish. Again, don't take this personally, but the way you think about willpower is childish and inaccurate. And you're relying on something you don't understand that's not built for that task. You're not built to willpower, make big conscious decisions about every food you eat all day long. You're not built that way. It's estimated we make over 200 food decisions a day. You can't all of a sudden just put everything in your life on hold. You've done this. Every time you diet, it's tiring because you're micromanaging everything. There's a thing called decision fatigue. You wear this little part of your brain out, your prefrontal cortex, where your willpower is, and you just blast through it on diets. And then you can't control your eating. So it's a very short-term shitty strategy to try and manage your eating and your weight, to rely on willpower. Yeah. Let me see here. Bree says, can you please repeat what weight loss products are owned by food companies? I want to tell my dad. Yeah, I love this. I can't say this enough. I try to make a point of saying this every day because, again, the reason I do this live every day, I do one of these every Monday through Friday, usually around noonish. I do these, and I've been doing these now for over a year and a half. I've had 340. I don't even know where the hell I'm at with them, but I'm obsessed with this stuff. I really am. This is just what I do. So my mission in life is to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. Yes, I do have a program that you can invest in, but I give you more free stuff than anyone. And so the reason this is so important to me is because it's not only, a big reason is because this is life or death. Literally what you're putting into your body, your weight, how you're living is probably going to be the biggest factor of how long you live for. But even if it doesn't impact that, it's definitely going to be the biggest impactor in your quality of life. And so I share this with you because I want you to realize that a lot of people are out there thinking the problem's them. There's something wrong with me. And I want you to understand the gigantic, gargantuan conspiracy that is the diet food industry. You've been set up to fail and you don't realize it. You look at diets to learn what to do and you don't realize they're just the food companies with a disguise on, sending it right down the fucking river. So I will tell you it again. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Weight Watchers started out great. It was a lady in New Jersey who started meeting up with women and they started talking about things and people were losing weight. So it started out great. Heinz buys them and starts having the meetings in the back of grocery store freezers because it was really just a way to sell their shitty foods. So there's always this shitty profit motive and confusion motive of these companies. So Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products was owned by the same company as Carvel Ice Cream and Cinnabon. Slim Fast was owned by the same company as Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream, which is, what's the name of that company? It's I don't know. I always blank on their name. It's something with an I. Yeah, it'll come to me. MPCP. So true about mistakes. I don't gain weight from one overeaten meal, but stacks and stacks of them. Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Baja, how you doing? Yeah, exactly. It's, I always say, in politics, I always say it's not the crime, it's the cover up. I always say it's not the binge, it's what you do afterwards. You know what I mean? It's never the binge. One overeating episode is really not a big deal. It's really not. It's a big deal if it triggers you to overeat for the next 4 months, you see? But this is one of the biggest issues dieters have. And it's a multi-layered problem, but this is really Program Yourself is designed to aim right at this problem, which is that you as a dieter think you're going to start tomorrow or yesterday. You're going to start on a Monday. It's always a Monday. You're going to start on a Monday. And what? You're going to do everything perfect. You've never jumped into a weight loss plan halfway. You jump into 100%. Everything's perfect. I didn't eat any carbs. I didn't eat for 12 hours, 16 hours. I didn't eat more than 1,200 calories. I tracked every calorie I ate, right? You always start out at 100%. And in your mind, you think you're going to be 100% until you reach your goal weight. This is the fantasy land that you've been hypnotized, literally hypnotized by the diet industry. It doesn't make any fucking sense. The idea that you're going to be 100% on day one and maintain that 100% until you reach your goal weight is an absolute fairy tale. You've never done it. And so it's crazy. So this is one of the biggest traps of the diet mindset, is the second you make a mistake. And the irony is you could make the littlest mistake because everything's relative. When you're perfect, you're perfect. And then the littlest mistake, I ate 2 cookies. I blew it. And now once you feel like you blew it, you're completely off track. And so you as a dieter have no ability to absorb mistakes. And so Program Yourself Thin is literally built around that, because Program Yourself Thin, do not start day one perfect. No, you can't do that. You start by listening to a 5-minute hypnosis session. We start small. We build on success, just like everything else you do. I always use the example, like if you want to learn to play a piano, you as a dieter, the equivalent of that would be like, oh, I want to play the piano. I want to get good. I'm going to start playing 10 hours a day. Well, maybe you get through the first day, but this next day you wake up, your fingers are all cramped up and you hate the piano. You're not playing 10 hours that second day. That's what dieting's like for you. And so how do you master the piano? You start off slow and you keep progressing and getting better. Well, I want to do it fast. Well, then get out of here. It's ain't for you. What do we want from me? You can't do it fast. I haven't seen anyone do it fast long-term. There's always a couple outliers, but very rarely. The people I talk to, and I've talked to a lot of people now at this point who have lost weight and kept it off, it's always the same thing. They made lifestyle shifts, mindset shifts, eating changes in how they think about food, how they eat. It's fundamental shifts that took hold over time. It's the same thing for everything. Dieting is the only outlier thing like this where you can change everything all at once, and it's not real. You can't. Chuck said, I need to calm down. Yeah, don't worry about that. A couple pounds there. That's exactly right. How much have you lost? I dropped 54 pounds 30 years ago, and I've kept it off for 30 years. I had one blip 12 years ago where I put 25 pounds on. But that's what I'm trying to say. That's the more impressive piece. And 54 pounds, that's a lot of weight. But lots of you have lost 50 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 100 pounds. The losing the weight, I don't give a shit. I don't care about your weight loss. I care about, can you live at that weight forever? That's what you have to start doing. So you stop getting seduced by every time you hear about someone's weight loss. Oh, how'd you do it? Tell me how to do it. I want to do it. It's like, well, you're not going to do it probably. Neologism says, yes, 100% right, especially when you have to feed 2 little boys. Yeah, that's an extra challenge. When you got kids, it's an extra challenge for sure. Everyone's got their challenges. It's about identifying, acknowledging the challenges you have and come up with strategies to deal with them. Fred Daisy says, what do you think is the most satiating, don't know how to spell it, food? Fiber. Fiber was the answer to that. Nora says, I love your messages, Jim. Finally, I'm living life without obsession over my weight. Yeah, great, Nora. I'm proud of you because that's what we want. It's not just enough to look at the scale and measure our success by that. We got to look at how we feel. And when you do that, the crazy irony is that once you start focusing on how you feel by eating better, living healthier, that's the more motivating and empowering. And the weight's nice too. Don't get me wrong, but it's how you feel. So I'm glad you said that, Nora. Nora said beans. Beans are a great source of fiber. So yes. Oh, and got it. Yep. Fiber. Yep. What's up, Heather? Hi. Every person I see in town is now thin. Is this Ozempic just the norm now? Yeah, probably. The Ozempic. Yeah, people are saying that to the point that companies are freaking out. Food companies are freaking out with the Ozempic. That's why I tell you the diets don't work, because look, they're freaking out now about Ozempic because it's affecting their sales. And that's how they were never going to share a diet with you that actually, like Heinz was never going to, if Weight Watchers actually worked well, they would never promote that to the world. Heinz, Nestle is never going to buy Program Yourself then and blast out to the world. Like, they will never do that because that would actually cause people to not want to eat their bullshit. You know what I mean? So it's like all the diets that they're promoting out there, they do it because they know they don't work. As a matter of fact, not only do they not work, they get you trapped. But yeah, the Ozempic thing, I don't know. Like, again, I'm not here to be negative with Ozempic. If you want to take Ozempic, knock yourself out. I'm not even dealing with, I'll tell you this, Heather, I'm not even dealing with just thin. I'm really dealing with weight mastery. And as I always say, in Program Yourself, then we're taking weight and we're wrapping in personal development. So to be honest, this really isn't even a weight loss program. Technically, it's a personal development program. It's about becoming the person that you want to be, the best version of you. And one little piece of that is your weight, your size. But the bigger part of it is the parent you are, the partner you are, the son or daughter you are, the sibling you are, the friend you are, the colleague you are, the employee you are, the employer you are, the entrepreneur you are. Whatever the fuck's important to you in your life, the way you're eating, living, and thinking is influencing all of that. So again, Ozempic, I know, whatever. Again, I got people in the program that are on it. So it's like, I'm not against it. I think it's a great solution for people that aren't willing to change their diet and see if that'll help them. And on top of that, it's just one little piece of the puzzle. And Program Yourself, then we follow a weight mastery pyramid: mindset, lifestyle, and then eating on the top. And so I know, so I don't give a shit about any of that shit. I just want to lose weight. Great. Knock yourself out. What I'm doing isn't for you. To be honest, what I'm doing isn't for most people. What I do, really, I'll be real clear. I don't want you to waste your time. This method I'm talking about is really for overthinkers. That's almost exclusively, over the 20 years I've been doing this, it's overthinkers that I work with. People that think all day long in their head. And I'm like that. And you're probably a perfectionist. You're probably an overachiever. And you're probably successful in a lot of areas of your life and struggle with the weight. And there's a reason why. And again, it comes down to a little voice in your head, what you say to yourself all day long. And so you can go on Ozempic, and you know what my people, the overthinkers, the perfectionists, when they go on Ozempic and start losing weight, you know what they get into? They start feeling like they're cheating. They don't feel like it's going to last. They don't feel like they're really doing it. There's other areas of their life they're not happy with, they don't know what to do. So to me, it's not, if all you want to do is lose weight, it may do that. Now, you may feel nauseous, and there's other effects of Ozempic too. And I don't like to harp on those because I don't want to be negative. But there's other ways to approach this and turn this into a bigger thing in your life. And so I'm that way. You know what I mean? Like, I would always want to find the way I did myself. I value that. I love personal development. I like challenges. I like figuring things out. So there's different types of people in the world, though, Jody says, coworker lost 50 pounds on Ozempic, went on vacation, didn't go back on, gained 50 pounds back. Yeah, well, there you go. And why do people not go back on? I mean, A, one, it's super expensive right now. B, there are side effects or effects, from these medicines. And that would scare me. I mean, just personally, this is a new medicine relatively. Now, they've been using it longer than you think. It's been around 20, 25 years, but they've been testing most with diabetics. It was built for diabetics to juice their pancreas to create more insulin, because their pancreas is a shot, because they've been spiking their blood sugar and crashing it for so long that now their pancreas doesn't produce insulin. So that's what it was originally for. Just didn't have the side effect where it creates this extra GLP-1 hormone. So it's a way, but again, for the people that I work with, it's not the way they want to do. So I wouldn't have any FOMO to these people. Me personally, there's a shortage of medicine. Yeah, there's a shortage as well. Yeah, for sure. And so teach their own. But to me, again, I look at myself and my journey. If I had just lost the weight, I would have been just as fucked up. I say for me, it's an easy path to make. I mean, for me, there's a lot of emotional turmoil, and that showed up in my life with binge drinking behaviors, just crazy self-destructive behaviors, and overeating and just eating out of control. And so even if all of a sudden I start taking Ozempic and the eating does what it does, I was a wreck emotionally, and I had all this other ways of expressing that. So for me, I personally, I wanted to have a holistic, comprehensive approach. I mean, I'm a yoga instructor, so it's a yoga base to it. There's meditation to it. There's a holistic aspect to it that I really like. So it's not just weight loss. And I always make that clear to anyone. I would never want anyone to get in my program. They just want to lose weight. Then this ain't the program for you. This is about really transforming yourself from the inside out into the person you want to be. And I know you want to be thin and healthy. That's one aspect of it, but it's really being the person you want to be. Again, even the lifestyle piece that we work on, proper sleep, hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. Ozempic gives you none of those. And that to me is what gives me a quality of life. The weight does too, but it's not enough. In my opinion, for me, it wouldn't be. My lifestyle and my mindset work is really the stuff that really juices me up and gives me the quality of life that I really am happy with. The weight in of itself, not that. For me though, so anyways, I wouldn't have fun about missing out on that, Heather, because I think, and Heather, this too, because when we do our coaching calls, if you think about it, I think what's happening is what's being revealed to you is the underlying issues that have led to the food. You thought the food was the problem, but in the coaching world, we call it like a presenting problem and then the real problem. And so for you, Heather, there's the presenting problem that shows up when it shows up, but now you're finding there's deeper reasons why that's happening. So to me, it's like, I don't want to just deal with the symptom. I want to find the cure. And I think that Ozempic obviously is just another way just to deal with the symptom. And so that's my thoughts on that. Proverb said sugar. Sugar is not satiating at all. Erica, you got it. Fiber. Well, some fiber. You guys, good job. Dietary fiber. There it is. Oh, I totally misunderstood the question. Okay, there. That's funny. That's why we wrote sugar down. How much fiber should we consume daily? I'm not going to give you, I'm not a big fan. Like I never have done this, like where I'm like, I gotta have 130 grams of fiber. I got 30 grams of fiber, whatever may be the number. I've never been a number person in that way. I've always been very intuitive of how I'd approached my dietary goals. And so I have increased my fiber intake to a point where I feel really good. How much fiber am I actually consuming? I don't even know, but I can almost guarantee you're not consuming enough fiber, because the way the fiber I'm talking about is from fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, whole grains. Okay. And so you're probably not eating enough of those. And so start adding those things into your life and start noticing how you feel. I think keeping it intuitive is a good way to do it. Tina says, thank you. I truly believe what you're saying. Well, thank you for saying that. What were your staple meals during your journey? Staple meals for my journey now are the same. Again, now I will tell you my superpower is I can eat the same thing and I don't give a shit. So you have to build around who you are. My variety requirements are very low. Some people have higher variety requirements. So you have to come up with a couple more variety options. But staple meals for me, Ezekiel bread with natural peanut butter, apple with natural peanut butter, breakfast 5 days a week. That's typically what I'll eat. And I'll drink a bunch of water. And that's kind of my magic formula when I don't have a bunch of sugar and baked goods flowing through my body or stress flowing through my body, that's a breakfast that comfortably gets me till lunch. And lunch is usually a giant salad with, there's a bunch of different greens in it. And then there's 6 to 8 fruits and vegetables in it. And usually a source of protein in the form of egg whites or chickpeas. Then I'll have a banana with peanut butter. And then I'll have dinner. And dinner, usually on my clean days, is something like a grain, a whole grain, some vegetable, some source of protein, which is usually a bean. Sometimes it's fish. Sometimes some alternative thing. And then my pleasure days, different meals. Claudia, I'm really happy that I found you, sir. Well, I'm glad you found me too. I always like when new people find me because, yeah, I know I'm spreading the good word here. I know that because I know the world y'all live in with the diets. And that's my biggest, again, obviously I'm really, I don't want you to die earlier than you need to because you couldn't stop fucking eating shitty food. And I want your quality of life to be good. But the other thing is like what you think about yourself. This is the thing that really kind of affects me emotionally almost is like, because I work with the smartest, greatest people on the planet. And it's like they're walking around feeling like shit about themselves because they blame themselves for not being able to lose weight from the diets. They take the blame themselves. It ain't your fault. Your head's been filled with mashed potatoes by these diet food companies. And it's really hard to know what to do when you're constantly getting bullshit information. So that is literally why I do this every day. It's a mission for me. It is life and death, but it's also literally how your quality of life's going day in and day out. So I'm glad you found me too. Make sure you follow me. Follow me. If you follow me on whatever, make sure you follow me so my stuff shows up. I make videos every day, do lives every day. I got stuff going on. And then make sure you go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session. It's free. I give you a free video afterwards. It makes a lot of sense. I give you all kinds of free stuff. I got more free stuff coming. So go check it out. Miriam says, from your experience, what is a realistic time frame for losing about 65 pounds sustainably? It just depends. And I'm not trying to be squirrely here. I mean, people just lose weight differently. So I think setting up expectation for yourself of weight loss, I think is dangerous. I would say realistically, I would be looking at a year or two, is probably what I'd be looking at. And I know you're freaking out about that, but it's like, who gives a shit? Because how long would you like to keep the 65 pounds off? Forever, right? You see what people don't understand, because you're thinking, your all or nothing thinking is so infected you so completely that you don't even realize all the ways. But one of the big ways this all or nothing thinking fucks you up more than anything is that you want to lose 65 pounds, let's say. And what you do is you do the 2-point thing where you're like, okay, I'm 65 pounds heavier and I want to be 65 pounds lighter. And let's say you get 40 pounds down. So you're still 25 pounds away. So I got 25 pounds I got to lose. You're 40 pounds down and you want to allow yourself to appreciate and enjoy it. I see this all the time. There's probably a question waiting for me. I get this every day where someone's like, they've lost like 70 pounds and they're 5 pounds away from their goal weight and they're miserable because they can't get to that last 5 pounds. Who gives a shit? You're 95% of the way your goal. That 5 pounds isn't going to mean a shit to you other than the fact that it's a number on a scale. You keep making it into a big deal. And it's like, so anyways, but 65 pounds sustainably, I set myself up for a year anyways. And if you think to yourself, oh, a year, oh, fuck that, then fuck you, because you're never going to do it. If you don't think a year from now matters, then you're in some bizarro world. Next year's coming, or it's not, then it won't matter what you weigh. But next year's probably coming just like last year came here, the year before came here, the year before. Don't you wish you could go back in time 5 years ago and have committed to thinking in a year time frame? Wouldn't you be way better off now? You're obsessed with losing weight fast and you haven't lost any weight in a year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years. Maybe focusing on losing it quickly isn't working. I know you're asking that, Miriam, but I would say, I say it to anyone. If you told me how long, 10 pounds, I would say, where do you want to be next year at this time? I am a master weight. I'm a master of my weight. I can control my eating. I control my mindset, my lifestyle, all of it. I wanted to lose 5 pounds about 3-4 years ago over the summer. I gave myself 3-4 months to lose 5 pounds because I know I could drastically cut my calories down and lose 5 pounds. I wanted to lose 5 pounds in a way that I look at my eating and my lifestyle and I say, where can I turn the dials down so that I'm now 5 pounds lighter? And that's where I'm at. I mean, it is literally, I'm looking at this regularly 180 degrees different than everyone else is. And it's the secret that's allowed me to master my weight. I'm one of the few. that not only there's a lot of people have mastered their weight, but there's very few people that have mastered their weight that can articulate it the way I can. And that's what's makes me unique. Very unique. Again, I'm not saying you're blowing my own horn, but what I'm saying is you should listen to me, because even if you disagree with me, at the very least, you should listen to me for a little while, because I'm giving you counterpoints to your normal mindset and thinking patterns. And that all that can do is either strengthen what you believe is true or help you realize something new and better that's going to be more helpful to you. Again, I'm trying to point out your problem is not that you don't have enough willpower. I can't stress that enough. It's not that you don't have enough willpower. Nihilism says, I just want to share something, maybe bring a little awareness. I realized after consuming different protein powders, I felt rage. They made me super angry and snappy and the worst version of me. That's interesting. Again, it's always important to focus on how different things are affecting you. So that part's good. What's up, Deanna? I think it would work temporarily, but I don't want to be on that the rest of my life, and side effects don't sound good. Yeah, speaking of Ozempic, I agree. I think I'd be really happy, Deanna, that the path you've chosen, you're going to look back a year from now and it's going to be a real obvious decision that you're happy you made, I think. Sometimes we're so disconnected from ourselves that we don't understand the side effects. Oh, that's absolutely true. A lot of people completely unaware. And it says, have you heard of the book, The Whole Body Reset? Could be written by you. They're about fiber for anyone over 50, especially say minimum 25 grams. Book has a lot of your same advice, at least on the food part. I haven't, but yeah, whole body, whole food, whole body, that stuff is basically where I'm coming at. I mean, it's real simple. It's just whole natural foods, as much of that as you can eat as possible, So, but this is what makes me different. I'm not saying, I think the problem with the diets is it's so black and white. And, I like to give you gray area answers, because that's where you're going to live most of your life, and I think the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can set yourself up for success. But yeah, what I'm saying diet wise is very simple. It's steeped in, I was a raw foodist at one point, and that really affected me. It wasn't the right thing for me, but I learned a lot. And, basically whole natural foods that come out of the ground. The more of those you put in your body, the easier time you're going to have, the better you're going to feel, most likely. So just spreading the word. Even if we had perfect nutrition advice, we would never get the mindset advice. Exactly. And you're getting great nutrition advice. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm not saying, like, if you want to lose weight as fast as humanly possible, keto might be the great way to do that, but if you want to actually stay at a lower weight, then that's a shitty way to do that. Everyone knows that. You try and believe it's not true, but it is. What's up, Gail? And I saw your message yesterday. Sorry I didn't get back. Yesterday was a crazy day. It was a fun day. I get to power wash for 4 hours. I love power washing. I just got myself a new power washer. So that was a blast. But anyways, it caused me to go on late, Gail. So sorry I didn't get back to you. But yeah, anyways. Gail says, PYT is giving me food freedom. I'm no longer thinking of food all day long. I can go out, eat without feeling guilty and shame when my eating is not perfect. I'm trusting myself. I love that. And Gail's like that exact type of person I'm talking about, like super smart, very successful, just sharp. And, but to manage the weight, her history has been that she has become obsessed, absolutely obsessed with food. It's miserable. And the more obsessed you get with food, it's like, in a weird way, it triggers you to have unhealthy eating habits and behaviors. And it's a slippery slope. So there's a way better way to do this. And, yeah, Gail's finding it. Yeah, I'm finding a balance by living like a thin person. That's the big difference. Again, you all as dieters, what you don't realize is going on is that the more you diet, the more you reinforce this identity of being someone who struggles to lose weight. You have, every time you diet, you're reinforcing the identity of being an overweight person who struggles to lose weight. And so I can't even stress enough the difference between being a dieter, an overweight person trying to lose weight, and being a thin and healthy person. And Program Yourself Thin is all about, how do I become a thin, healthy person that I want to be? And you need to learn how to think that way. And learning how to think like a thin, healthy person on your own is like trying to learn how to speak Chinese on your own. It's really hard, What's up, Kelly? Oops, shit. I just passed a bunch of questions here. There it is. Kelly says, if I happen to feel a bit hungry between meals, I will eat high fiber foods. Yeah. Fiber, FDA suggests 28 to 40 grams, and scientists recommend more than 50. Yeah. Yeah, Lisa, the answer was fiber. Yeah. More fiber getting you better. Yeah. Yeah. And Kelly said that Hack Your Health on Netflix. I want to watch that really bad. The microbiome stuff is fascinating stuff. Some of my favorite. Zeta says, I eat healthy all day, but in the evening, I tend to eat junk food again. Do you have any tips? Yeah, Unilever. Thank you. Yes, it's Unilever. So that's not an I, but it's the E. but that's an I. It doesn't matter. Thank you for telling me that. Let's scratch that itch. I always forget that name for some reason. Such a disgusting company too. Our food is, anyways, I'll stay for another day. Yeah, eat healthy all day and then stagnate. Depends what you're eating healthy. Healthy all day is a phrase I no longer assume what that means, because eat healthy all day can mean a lot of different things to different people. So eating healthy might be that you're not eating much. So I would need to know what eat healthy means. Eat healthy. If eating healthy is I'm eating, like I got, whole food breakfast I'm eating that's really satisfying and nourishing. I'm eating a really solid, healthy, whole food lunch, very nourishing. My dinner's solid. I'm nourishing myself, and then I'm snacking on junk all night. That would be a different answer than, I'm not eating breakfast, I'm not eating lunch, and then I'm eating my dinner, and now I don't know I'm snacking at night. So I would need to have more details to give you a valuable answer. Was it Nutrisystem? Yeah, Nutrisystem was owned by Unilever. And when I say that, by the way, I understand these companies are buying and selling shit all the time, but those are all true things. Oh shit, Deb. Yeah, Deb, did I get you in the program? I got you in there. I got you. It's been crazy times. It's just been a lot of stuff going on for me. So I just freaking out there for a second. What do you get if you join the PYT club? Deb, you're already in the program. Wait to find out, because if you join the Thrive program, the club's included with it. And so if you like getting on live calls and you like the live trainings and that stuff, it's a better deal, I think, ultimately. But PYT club, you get a weekly lesson. I'm going to start adding a hypnosis session to each one. You get a monthly challenge. So yeah, and I think there's a couple bonuses too. I live with my parents who still buy junk food. Yeah, living with people who buy junk food's tough for sure. What's up, Joan? How's it going? How long does it take before you don't feel guilt and shame after eating dessert? I feel great on clean food and get a lot of what you're teaching. Oh yeah, that's going to go quick, Joan, because the guilt and shame is not serving you at all. The guilt and shame is a real barrier to change. You think it's helping you and it's not. It's hurting you. So Joan, hopefully you'll get on the call tonight and we will literally talk about this exact thing. What you want to do is you do not want to feel guilt and shame. You want to connect to the consequence. How does it feel after you eat the dessert? Physically, mentally, and emotionally. There's no guilt or shame needed. There's just awareness of what the consequence is. Okay. And we'll talk more about that. Get on the coaching call tonight. We'll go through that in more detail. Fatma says, can you talk about food addiction? I feel like I can't stop eating and keep thinking about food. Yeah, well, food addiction is very interesting because it certainly feels like food addiction. But is it really addiction like hardcore drugs are? Well, usually no. There's a lot of reasons you're addicted to food. Number one is you're probably not nourishing yourself enough. Number two, you may be eating a lot of processed, ultra processed foods, which is going to be addicting to you. Number three, you may be watching a lot of TV commercials and seeing food triggers constantly throughout the day. Number four, you may have a bad strategy of how to eat. So, what shows up and feels like food addiction a lot of times is the result of a lot of other things. You're not structuring your eating right. You're not nourishing yourself right. You don't have the right mindset. The lifestyle is not supporting you. You know what I mean? So again, there's what I would suggest to you, because I know that's unsatisfying, but go to my bio, click the link, watch the video that you get right after you sign in, and that'll give you more detail on it, I think. Kathy G says, just heard ladies say beans spike your sugar. I'm not going to say, there's a lot of people in the world and people respond a lot, crazy to different stuff. So I'm not going to say that beans can't spike your blood sugar for certain people. What I will say is beans are like, it's like there's a huge conspiracy against beans, and it's one of the weirdest things you'll ever see. They will talk about how beans have lectins and that's why you shouldn't eat them. And it's like when you cook beans, the lectins get cooked away. But people will say that. So when people say stuff about beans, I'm very suspicious right off the bat usually. We've been living off beans for a long time. So I don't know. Do they spike your blood sugar? Again, there's a lot of people in the world. So check measure your blood sugar and eat some beans and see if that's true for you. Abzam, just joined. Can you discuss what your program is? Yeah, sure. Program Yourself Thin is set up as an 8-week program, and there's 3 main components to it. It's designed to turn you into a thin, healthy person from the inside out. And to do that, the first thing we do is you need to learn how to program your own mind. So I teach you the redo rehearsal technique. It takes about half an hour. This is the technique you use to program your own subconscious mind. Okay. You've got to learn how to run your own mind, right? And you learn how to do that real quick, and you use this technique every night. It takes a minute or two. Really, really important, core part of the whole program. The next thing is you need to have an eating blueprint. You need to structure your eating. And so we go to work on how do you need to eat so that you can comfortably. How can you eat so that you comfortably are able to get to your goal weight and then stay there the rest of your life on your autopilot? That's what the eating blueprint's for. There's also a lifestyle and mindset blueprint under that. Right? Again, we think about the weight mastery blueprint, eating, lifestyle, mindset. So I take you through those. You get a workbook and you fill those out and you have your blueprints. Okay. And so that's knowing what to do. Basically, you need to know what to do and how to get yourself to do it. That's the blueprints and then the program yourself in technique. And the third piece is you need to learn how to think like a thin, healthy person. And one of the easiest ways in the world that can help you do that is through hypnosis sessions. So I deliver the program through your phone. There's also an online membership area that you get lifetime access to, but I deliver it through your phone. And every morning you get a message from me with a link to your 5-minute hypnosis session. So every day for 8 weeks, you get a 5-minute hypnosis session you listen to. Each one's different. Each one has a different weight loss mantra in it. And so you start each day relaxed, calm, with good stuff in your head. And that naturally tends to cause you to eat better as well. So we put these 3 things together. Also, there's a lot of bonuses as well. But that's the core of the program, and then there's a version that you kind of do yourself. And there's a version that has a group coaching with it as well. So, and again, you can go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, and learn about it. You can go to programyourself.com and learn about it as well. Mario says, I lost 5 pounds by simply binging less than I used to. Must be water weight, but I'm happy. There you go, Mario. I remember I sent an email out back in the day and it said how to lose weight eating a pint of ice cream every day. And it says if you usually eat 2 pints of ice cream and you start eating 1, you'll lose weight. So the reason I said it like that is that we tend to think, again, all or nothing. But if you start reducing calories in the easiest way possible, that's a great way to lose weight. So yeah, simply binging less than I used to. There's a lot of wisdom in that, Mario. Good job. Claudia says you're a blessing. Thank you. Appreciate you saying that. User 963, can't wait to try the hypnosis. Yeah, you're going to love it. I love that session. It's a kickstart session. That's a session I give. It's called The New Thin Me. And I think it's great. What's up, Vicky? How's it going? Mindset, lifestyle, and all or something are so integral to me now. Thanks to you, Jim. Yeah, those are great, right? Yeah, the mindset, lifestyle, and all or something thinking patterns are huge. They're game changers. No doubt about it. Jody said you're like a kid in a candy store with the power washing. True story. I really am. I love power washing. I used to love that as a job. It was always good initially, and then it gets a little, it is what it is. But I literally love it. And now I got this new power washer. It's like a real one again, and oh man, get out of town. Even my mom, she was like sending me pictures. Like, I can't believe it. Like, looks amazing. It really did too. It was fun because it looked like shit. It was like, man, I should post the pictures. It's exciting. I love that stuff. Anyways, Bryce Hall, how's it going? Stop thinking about food, try water, fasting. You help me. Are you okay? I want a powder. I want a power washer. You do. They're so fun. And it's crazy. Yeah. Once you start using it, it's addictive though. Cause I was saying it to my brother. He's like, I'll just borrow yours. I'm like, you can borrow it, fine, but you're going to wash it. Then you're going to realize how dirty things are. You want to wash all the time. How do you control your hunger? That's a great question. How do you control your hunger? Again, I can give you some best practices, but ultimately it's figuring out what works best for you, because everyone's different and unique. But I'll give you some of the high points. Better sleep, real important for your hunger. Hydration, proper hydration, real important for your hunger. Relaxation, real important for your hunger. When you're stressed out and anxious, you're going to be hungrier. Okay, the more calm you are, the hunger's better. Nourishing yourself, like giving your body what it truly craves and desires, nourishing yourself with nutrient density and variety. It's going to help your hunger. Right? So I'll keep those. Those are the big ones that I would focus on. What's up, Astrid? I asked myself, do I really want to lose weight? I talk to you soon. Oh, great. Yeah, I'd love to go over that with you, Astrid, because you can't ask that question enough. Really, I promise you. User 203, does your program come with regular weekly or monthly sessions that we can listen to over and over? Oh, yeah. Hypnosis sessions. My program it's the number one hypnosis program for weight loss on the planet. I don't even market it as that because I don't like to market it as just a hypnosis program. I don't think hypnosis alone is going to work for most people to master their weight. I truly don't. I think you need to be able to influence yourself. So that's the PYT technique. And you need to have these blueprints, at least the eating blueprint. You have got to have an eating blueprint. because otherwise you won't be aware of which foods are really satisfying to you. It makes things, you need to have an eating blueprint. And I don't say that you need too many things. That's the one thing I think you absolutely need to have. So, yeah, there's that. But then there's, oh my God, my hypnosis. With my program, by the end of the 8 weeks, you have had 57 5-minute hypnosis sessions. Each one's different. Each one with a mantra on it, with a quote with it. It's a whole thing. Each week, you get a different sleep gnosis session. This is one of the bonuses I didn't even mention. But each night, you get a 10-minute sleep gnosis session, and you get 2 versions of it. One has a count out, and one doesn't. And each one of these has a core weight loss mantra, and you listen to the same one each night for a week to really install it. So that's another 8 sessions. And then you get a hypnosis library with another 25 sessions, and you get lifetime access to those forever. So you can re-listen those as much as you want. What I do a lot of times is people finish up the 8 weeks and I just restart them and they just go through it again. So yeah, all in all, I mean, you're talking almost 100 hypnosis sessions, and I'm adding more, as well. So yeah, you listen to those over and over again, because it helps. There's a sweet spot of repeatedly listening to them. Is really, really effective. So yeah, you get those. Carol says, what salad dressing do you use on your salad? I tend to use usually a Greek dressing. Sometimes there's like a homemade dressing that's literally made right down the street to me. It's kind of weird, but they sell in grocery stores too, but it's funny. It's made there and look at the house, but that's like it's good quality. And then there's a Greek dressing. There's Ken's Simply Vinaigrette. I use that a lot of times. But yeah, those are kind of the salad dressings I use. Niloism asks, what's the name of the technique? I call it the program yourself thin technique, but it's really the redo rehearsal technique. It's 2 techniques, but they're so important because the redo technique helps you to learn. It helps you absorb and then learn and grow from the mistakes you make. And you're going to make mistakes. Okay. You're going to make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. There's something wrong with not learning and growing from them. And dieters never learn from their mistakes. So that's the redo technique part. Then the rehearsal technique is imagining how you want tomorrow to go and to really connect into it. It's really about programming yourself to be the best version of you possible. This is why I can't do that part for you. I give you best practices and general suggestions I know are going to support you and help you. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. Who do you want to be? And it's figuring out who you want to be and then programming your subconscious mind to become that version of you. That's what the redo rehearsal technique does in a very, very effective way. Very powerful process. So again, my program is easily the number 1 hypnosis program you will ever see for weight mastery. But that's just literally one piece of it. There's all this other stuff. Because yes, I've been a hypnotist for over 20 years professionally, but there's lots of hypnotists. The reason people pay me $25,000 to work with me privately is because I've coached weight loss like almost exclusively. That's my main thing. And so I've done almost 6,000 private weight loss sessions, so again, it's a very unusual background I have that allows me to do that. Joan says, all the leafy greens I'm eating are power washing my arteries. Yeah, for sure, Joan. I get that. So again, don't go too fast. Again, with the natural food, ease into it. Cause sometimes I went through this. I boosted up the fiber so much, felt like someone poured in concrete in my intestines for a month or so. So, I habituated to, I got used to it. Again, it's your microbiome transforming, but it can be a little uncomfortable sometimes, but don't worry about it. It's normal. You got to pay attention. If it's too uncomfortable, be careful because there can be negative effects from eating healthy, too quick, or you may have again, everyone's unique. So be sensitive to how your body feels. A little discomfort, I think is okay. Excessive discomfort's not okay. So make sure you pay attention to that, but that's funny that you put it that way. It is like that. I think of that all the time. I'm about to eat a salad right now. And I love putting that in my body. I love it. So, yeah. I'm glad you think of it that way. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Great calls today. This was a really good one. I really appreciate everything you wrote and asked and all that. So that makes me happy. So yeah, if you're not yet in my world, please go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, watch the video, read the emails I send you every day. It's all free. And I send you a lot of other stuff coming your way. The podcast is Program Yourself. Then it's on all the major podcast platforms. Go listen to it. We do these every single day. Go listen to that. It can be helpful. And then If you don't follow me. Just give me a follow, give me a like, and I appreciate that. And then if you're really serious, go to Program Yourself, then start the program, and I'll work with you in the program. So, all right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a super duper day. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Bye.